Alrighty guys, this is Andrew and welcome back to Overwatch. Another post commentary. This is old footage from closed beta, so don't get too excited. The open beta has not started yet. But I just kind of wanted to go on a bit of a ramble. Don't expect this to really be like a directed, purposeful video. It's just going to be kind of my ramblings on the open beta, how excited I am. I mean, it starts next week. I mean, who else is excited? I mean, come on. Everyone. Like, I bet you it's going to be millions of people showing up to play this open beta, because if I remember correctly, when EA's Star Wars Battlefront came out, in the open beta at least, it had, what, almost 10 million people playing it across its different platforms. Overwatch, I mean, I just think this game has gotten so much freaking hype. I mean, it's gotta have that giant turnout. Maybe not 9.5 million, because that number is based off of all different platforms, but I mean, come on, it's Overwatch. It's definitely gonna have something in the millions. I would be curious about the numbers. I mean, if Blizzard ever decides to release those numbers like EA did, it would be definitely a nice eye-opener. Now, as far as the actual game, I don't know. I mean, the game is definitely not for everyone. It's a very well-made game, but I feel like a lot of people who are, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't even say like specific people. I mean, maybe the game just won't be for you, but I still think the numbers upon launch would be pretty high. I'd be kind of, again, curious to see what those are. Like, you know how Steam games have that Steam chart thing where you can kind of see the numbers for a particular game? It would be kind of cool to see if Blizzard has something like that. Though who knows, maybe I'm being a complete idiot and they already have a setup like that, and some in the comments could be like, Candy, you're a fucking idiot, it's right here, oh my gosh. Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. If there's already a platform or application or website that tracks Blizzard population or Blizzard games population, just let me know. But yeah, pretty excited for Overwatch. One thing though that I kind of wish they would fix on release is the amount of fucking UI there is on the screen. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen my Zenyatta gameplay. I'll probably put up some here if I have any left. But if I don't, I mean, you guys can just see the sheer amount of UI, like freaking icons and stuff. It gets really freaking cluttered, and I hope that's something they are able to polish and sort of taper down a little bit, just because I could even imagine the competitive people are getting annoyed by this. Because I'll give you an example. As Zenyatta, you can cast 2 orbs, and if you want to cast one of them on an enemy, it will say like, what was it, press E, or just have the letter E over the enemy, and you would think, oh, that's not a bad kind of thing, because you'll know when to use the orb on someone. But the thing is, while it's fine in close quarters, it really sucks when they're far away, because when they're far away, it's not like the icon shrinks sufficiently with their model, so it ends up just covering their entire body, and what you're shooting at is essentially a letter of the alphabet, which is sort of ridiculous. And I feel like as a closed beta tester, like, the population just kind of got used to those kind of things. So hopefully, if they don't kind of fix that, the general population will sort of resurge again with that kind of complaint. Because you know when something's kind of shitty, and you just kind of get used to it and just stop complaining about it, because you just, you know, it just becomes the new normal. Hopefully, with this new wave, these new wave of players, a lot of new things will sort of be looked at again that I feel were not addressed enough in the closed beta. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are like millions of threads about this in the forums, but I've never really noticed that much outcry. I mean, there was in the beginning, but I feel like it kind of tapered off. But on that note, though, I do feel like new players will be complaining about a good number of things. I can already guess which ones they're going to be. And these are sort of things that I see people complaining just because they're new to the game, may not necessarily learn how to counter these sort of things, and it's not necessarily immediately obvious. Just for example, I'm just going to give you an example right now, like Bastion, for example. Great sentry mode, sort of DPS type character, can take down loads of people if they're not smart about, you know, staying away from him. Very, very strong, but there is definitely ways to counter him. I mean, pretty easy ways once you kind of get the hang of it. But I feel like a lot of new players, you know, will probably think he's overpowered and just be like, oh my god, he's so OP. But he's been nerfed quite a bit. I mean, in the course of the closed beta, I mean, he used to have a shield. He used to have like 600 health in sentry mode and the DPS. So I don't know. I mean, he's been taken down and readjusted considerably through the game's sort of reiterations of the closed beta. Who else did I complain about? Torbjorn, probably. Torbjorn's turrets are pretty intense, pretty insane. They are definitely counterable, but I have a feeling that a lot of people will get pissed off or annoyed at them. And the funny thing about these characters is that as easy as they are to use in pub matches and you can have a great time with them, it's you don't see them nearly as much as in competitive stuff, sort of like tournaments and things like that. And I know like the competitive scene in Overwatch only has a small handful of players, but it is kind of interesting to see the general trend, of the small view we have of what the future could be for competitive Overwatch. It's it's not looking good for Bastion and Torbjorn. They don't get picked that much, and maybe that'll change in the future. But currently, at least the last time I played them, and all the different stats I've read about them on these websites and articles of people compiling all these numbers, it's like, it's like 13% or 6%, like that sort of level. When you start comparing to top tier picks that get picked like 121% of the time, it's a pretty big difference. But anyways, enough about Bastion Torbjorn. There's probably a lot of other things that new players will complain about. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will complain about the gunplay, maybe not be for everyone. Another one could be, certain maps. I'd imagine maybe some of the maps people don't like. Temple of Anubis actually used to be one of those maps. A lot of people didn't like it. I mean, a lot of people were like, oh my god, the last objective was impossible. And I'll admit myself that it was pretty tough for that last objectives for attackers, but they've kind of changed it so it's a bit easier. I don't know, it's always one of those weird things. I was reading a post by Jeff Kaplan about that actual particular section of the map where it's so defense favored, but at least in pubs anyways, but if you look at like higher levels of play, it's actually attacking favored, which I don't know. I mean, that's what he said from the statistics that he has access to working, being the game director or whatever for Overwatch, but I don't know. They, for whatever reason, they still decided to change it to make it a little bit easier for us pubbers. So, I don't know. All the maps I say are pretty good, but people are still going to complain about something. So, I would be curious to see what complaints come out. My top probably predictions would be Bastion Torbjorn and the UI, which I agree with actually. The UI is pretty terrible at times. Field of view is another one. I'd imagine field of view is something people complain about. Which they've already mentioned that they can't actually increase the field of view anymore, or else it will give certain heroes like a ridiculous edge, like unbalancing type thing. And I'd imagine a handful of people complain about the maps and stuff. But that's just sort of my rambling for today on the open beta. Definitely a sort of a ramble in every sense of the definition. I didn't have a single point that I want to talk about. It's going to be a hard pain in the ass to figure out what to name this video. Maybe just Overwatch predictions, thoughts. I don't know, we'll see. Just sort of a mixed bag discussion with you guys. I just kind of want to kick it easy this Saturday. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, I guess until next time, I'll see you in the next one.